This is the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition. Good evening, all. I'm Megan Shepard. It's so great to have you with us. Topping news, the state of Grand Bahamas hotel sector is a priority for the new chairman of the Hotel Corporation of the Bahamas. Tonight, he shares his plans and what this means for the island he calls home. Shashina Roll reports.
Member of Parliament for the Pine Ridge constituency, Frederick McAlpine, has been appointed to the chairman of the Hotel Corporation of the Bahamas. McAlpine says he is grateful to the nation's leader for reposing the confidence in him for such a position, and he's ready for the challenge.
I think the idea behind the Tourist Development Corporation is to somehow stimulate tourism throughout the Bahamas and to do a little bit more things than just dealing with hotels, but giving some kind of incentive for other products and as it relates to tourism throughout the Bahamas. Some of our competitors in the region have done so already.
The new chairman says it is no secret that Grand Bahamas tourism economy has been ailing for years, and he believes that the time has come to turn that around.
The important thing for me is to see Bahamians back to work. When our tourist product is ailing, it affects so many persons. It affects the taxi drivers, the hair braiders, those in water parks, and those who deal with watercrafts such as water taxi, glass bottom boats, fishing, bone fishing. It affects everybody, restaurants, and so we're all affected because it has been basically our #1 industry. Now, of course, we like to say that Grand Bahamas is the industrial capital of the Bahamas, and that is proven to be so by virtue of the industrial companies we have. But it is also proven to be true that everybody can't work in the industrial company.
He adds that now is the time to also think outside the box to modernize and revitalize the tourism product here on Grand Bahama.
Princess was good in its time, and Lakaya and Xanadu, they were all good. But we've got to get to a point where we can now be innovative thinkers in terms of tourism. We've got to think beyond just the sand, sun, and sea. We're not selling something that somebody else doesn't have. You can find sand, sun, and sea in Jamaica, in Cancun, Mexico, in the Dominican Republic. What we really need to do, and I would encourage as chairman of the Hotel Corporation, where we can get our people back to the place of excellence.
Shashina Roll, ZNS Network News.
Executive members of the Broadcasting Corporation on Grand Bahama Monday morning paying a courtesy call to the Minister of State for Grand Bahama in the office of the Prime Minister, Senator the Honorable Kwesi Thompson, and Parliamentary Secretary for Information and Communications, Pakeisha Parker Edgecombe. The management team included Acting General Manager Kaylisa DeVoe Isaacs, Acting Deputy General Manager for Human Resources Sandra Knowles, and Acting Deputy General Manager Darren Meadows. DeVoe Isaacs telling the Minister of State that the corporation remains committed to delivering quality broadcasting not only to the Northern Bahamas, but the country at large. Now, some major changes taking place at the Broadcasting Corporation of the Bahamas Northern Service. Members of that executive management team traveling to Grand Bahama on Monday to announce the new acting deputy general manager as the corporation moves forward with restructuring plans. Sabrina Brown has more.
The executive management team of the Broadcasting Corporation meeting with staff members of the Northern Service to outline the way forward. Former broadcaster, Parliamentary Secretary for Information and Communications, Pakeisha Edgecombe, noting that ZNS is the premier broadcasting entity in the country, and she encouraged staff members to work to ensure that the corporation remains the leader in the industry.
We should be the pace setters. We should be the ones that are introducing all that is needed in communications and in media. We want you to be a part of this. We don't want to isolate anyone, but at the end of the day, there are requirements to your jobs that you will have to fulfill. There has to be a mutual respect both from management and employees. That will be the order of the day. We need to move forward in unison and ensure that at the end of the day, the best product is given to the public.
Acting General Manager of the Broadcasting Corporation, Kaylisa DeVoe Isaacs, telling staff of the Northern Service that they play a significant role as the corporation begins the restructuring process.
We've got the best people in broadcasting at ZNS. I believe that. with everything that I am. Do we need to work a little harder? Yes. Do we need to feel a little prouder? Yes. And do we need to make sure that we are doing our jobs every day? Yes. So I'm asking everybody to please work with us as we try to get to the next level. And while some things might not happen immediately, it will happen.
DeVoe Isaacs also announcing that former director of television Darren Meadows is now the acting deputy general manager for Grand Bahama.
I just want to ask for your support, and I ensure you that whatever I can do to promote your cause, I will be your biggest advocate. You know what I mean? So just do your job. Just do your job, and that's it. That's all we're looking for, is for you to do your job, bring some ideas, and we'll be fine.
Former Deputy Director of News Ricardo Lightbourne is now the Director of the Northern Service. Sabrina Brown, ZNS
So
Network News.
amongst all these women, at least we have...
The Minister of Financial Services, Trade and Industry and Immigration weighing in on Grand Bahama's economy and this island's tourism sector. Shashina Roll has that story.
Grand Bahama's tourism industry has suffered many blows over the years. The closure of Memories and most of the Grand Lucayan property following Hurricane Matthew has devastated some Bahamian businesses and has left many unemployed. Minister of Financial Services, Immigration, Trade and Industry, the Honorable Brent Simonet, believes that the sale of the Grand Lucayan could spell good news for this island, but he says the entire industry must be taken into account.
We also need to look at the whole question of airlift to Grand Bahama. How once you start to improve the hotels and upgrade them, then there becomes a question of the cost of airplane tickets, the frequency, and the number of seats. And that's something that's being looked at as well, so we can grow the product here, grow the experience.
He says with the new Minister of State for Grand Bahama in the office of the Prime Minister, the ease of doing business in Freeport will be a priority.
You have an office of the Prime Minister here with a minister at full time here, that hopefully when we get these new projects, part of the ease of doing business in the Bahamas is to make sure a decision or a conclusion comes out very quickly after the application has been made. So I think you're looking forward to a brighter future here in Grand Bahama. It's not going to happen overnight. It's going to take small steps to make it happen, but the future is bright.
While Grand Bahama's tourism sector continues to struggle, the island is still maintaining its reputation as the maritime capital of the Bahamas. Given the challenges in the tourism sector, many question whether Grand Bahama can master both.
I think probably now's a good time, and some people might not agree with me, but maybe you as the press, us as the government, need to look at what is tourism in Grand Bahama. Tourism changes very quickly. So the traditional laying on a beach might not be the answer. Maybe we need to say, okay, I'm just throwing ideas out, let's make this the golfing capital. And you have land here, create several golf courses. So I think that's something that I think Grand Bahama has to look at itself and say, and have a frank discussion about what is tourism, what are we trying to attract.
Minister Simonet says it can no longer be business as usual.
For instance, around the world, as many of you are aware, Airbnb is becoming a big thing. It's taking away from the hotel industry. If you go to places like Hope Town, they use the hotel for the first night and then they rent a house for the. And I think we have to look at the ever-moving tourism product to see what it's. And now's a very good time to look at it while you're transitioning from one hotel to the other. It can't be the same old bringing people out of Canada, bringing them down for a couple of days, taking them off the cruise ships. Whilst that's still vital, I think we need to look at where the future of tourism is going to go.
Shashina Roll, ZNS Network News.
The Minister of Works on Grand Bahama recently for a private function, but while on island took the time to tour the West End community along with the Member of Parliament for West Grand Bahama and Bimini. The Minister of Works, the Honorable Desmond Bannister, toured the West End community, along with the Member of Parliament for West Grand Bahama and Bimini, Pakeisha Parker Edgecombe. Minister Bannister says that there are some concerns in that community, including drainage, the condition of the seawall, and the former government dock.
Well, obviously, this hasn't been a dock for quite some time, and the question is going, and of course, the water around is very low. So the question is, what type of utility is the community going to put to it? Whether it is worth making a difference with it. These are the issues that we're going to have to look at. I know there's a serious drainage issue down the street that I've looked at, where the drains obviously have never been cleaned. Certainly they haven't been cleared in my lifetime. And I understand that leads to a lot of flooding. I've also had an opportunity to look at the Holmes Rock Junior School. And when I get back on Monday, I'll be making some observations about that. That needs to move as quickly as possible.
Parker Edgecombe says that she has heard the concerns of residents and is working in partnership with the Minister of Works to bring about resolutions.
We wanted to bring Minister Bannister down today just to get a first-hand view of some of those concerns. I think in doing that, then we'll all be better off because he'll be able to identify once they're around the cabinet and be able to see what the community is asking for.
Administrator for the West Grand Bahama District, Brenda Bullitt-Colbrook, also on the tour. She says that she was pleased to have the minister on island to see firsthand the issues that affect the residents.
It's all good and well for us to write reports and advise, but when he actually comes down and see what is happening, he can get a better feel for the needs of the people, and then he can better make decisions as to how best he can assist us. We're taking the time today to go ahead and look at those areas that are most effective for the community. We're looking at drainage, we're looking at the old dock, and we're also going to be looking at the other public buildings. We'll also take a look at the West End Community Clinic to see the status of that. So I'm very happy that he is here, and hopefully this visit will produce some positive benefit for the community.
Both parliamentarians assured residents that they are working diligently to improve the lives of residents in the West. In news from the police, 2 firearms and ammunition taking off the streets in Bimini. A 25-year-old male of Grand Bahama is in police custody after he was found in possession of an unlicensed firearm and ammunition on Monday. Reports are that shortly after 2 a.m., officers while on mobile patrol in the Alistown area observed a suspicious vehicle parked in the middle of the road. A male exited the vehicle and ran. Officers gave chase and caught the male. The area was then searched and a black .380 automatic pistol with 6 live rounds of ammunition was found. A short time later, officers acting on information while in the Baileytown area discovered a .30 pistol with 4 live rounds of ammunition. Police are actively investigating this matter. Stay with us. There's more news right after this.